This podcast is sponsored by Ramp. Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's corporate cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now, get $250 when you join Ramp. Just go to ramp.com/easy. Ramp.com/easy. ramp.com/easy.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome to the Phil Paleologus Show, with updates and breaking news from the WBSM newsroom and on the WBSM app, and your calls and conversation at 508-996-0500. Here he is, New Bedford's #1 talk show host, WBSM's Morning Mayor, Phil Paleologus.
I should have started off with the association's windy as an indication of what we are going to expect this afternoon, as a wind advisory is hanging around the south coast, just like Kate and Phil. Or is it Philzy today? We'll find out. Good morning, everybody. 8 minutes after 6 o'clock. And yeah, Kate was just telling us about the wind advisory, and it's going to mean that, obviously, there's going to be an impact on your evening commute. So plan accordingly and just drive safely, slow down, and it's great to have you with us. Good morning. In our local headlines, what the heck went on in Martha's Vineyard with those rental vans and vehicles? All of them catching fire? Something's gone wrong somewhere. I hope we get to the bottom of that. First time I've ever heard of anything as bizarre as that. Again, we are definitely going to keep an eye on that story. So what did Paul Revere wake up everybody yelling out? The Redcoats are coming. The Redcoats are coming. Well, you know what? We also have the Royals are coming. The Royals are coming. And we may have dumped their tea in the harbor about, 250 years ago, or close enough for me and the Army. But Bostonians are getting ready to roll out the red carpet for the royal family, as Prince William and Princess Kate are due to arrive in the hub today for a 3-day scheduled event culminating Friday night with the Earthshot Prizes, a philanthropic venture of the royal couple to reward entrepreneurs battling climate change. And it's the first royal visit to Boston since the late Queen Elizabeth II and her husband, Prince Philip, touched down in 1976. And it is due to be a star-studded affair. Billie Eilish and others are performing, and this is going to be a very memorable day for the Royals and for those who beat the Royals. Or is that an old baseball team? Good morning. About 2.5 million Bay Staters voted in the general election earlier this month, beating projections made by Bill Galvin, as more people than expected turned up on Election Day to vote. Now, Boston media is reporting that while the number of ballots cast did not exceed the 2018 midterms, it was the first time since 2020 that the presidential primary in March and that in-person voting on Election Day accounted for more than half of the recorded ballots. Nice of you to join us. A little later on this morning, we'll talk about why, once again, we all were forced to get some mail-in ballots to our homes, and yet a lot of them did not go out to vote. And a lot of them didn't actually ask for the ballot. So there's always questions surrounding anything of that nature. It's 6:11 in the local headlines. An armed robbery yesterday at a local bank. Also, UMass Dartmouth, an officer now looked at for sex and assault charges. A satanic cult murderer has been denied parole, and alcohol testing. There's a scandal going on, as you well know, for months and months. How many New Bedford Fall River cases will that affect? Some are saying close to 30,000 cases. The SJC is looking at a Canton school and the stories of torture that have emerged. And a lifelong resident of Ward 3 is tossing his hat in the special election. Let's find out who that is. And more news coming up straight ahead.
Mornings after Phil, it's time.
Anywhere between 20, 30, 40 miles an hour. The South Coast is under an advisory because of the strong winds and the downpours later on. So if you have anything to do, get it all done before the afternoon. As we welcome you to another wonderful day here, Wednesday, November 30th. You know what that means? Hello, December tomorrow. So very, very happy to hear that Howie Carr last night was mentioning Jess Machado's Amanda Orlando interview that went over our air earlier in the day. And then Howie Carr took the story and had a very interesting twist to it as Jeff Machado. And, of course, our nighttime political experts, Chris and Marcus, have really put the political radio waves on the map with the brand new show at night. And now Jess getting a center of attraction mention yesterday on the Howie Carr Show. So I understand that the USA defeated Iran, all right, in a very politically charged World Cup match. Now, here's my question to you. They are saying that if these players came back home losers, that they could pay for it with everything from, well, an incursion to losing their lives. Can you imagine being told if you lose the match, you come back and say goodbye to your family? Unbelievable. Yep, I'm glad we defeated them. Very glad. All right, here's a pop quiz for you. I know it's early, 6:17, but at least I'm not asking you to count backwards by sevens. Here's my question, though. Iran says that they could face these players some retribution for losing to the USA, which was just an amazing win. And we want to ask you a question. If you were in charge of making the decision, would Iran win the argument? Meaning, if you knew ahead of time here in the USA that Iran was going to go south and be very, very hurtful to their own employees and the sportscasters, everybody, would that cause you to lose the game on purpose? All right. So you could perhaps save lives by losing the game. All right. Again, on purpose so that nobody on the other side is hurt. Or would you let it be? I would let it be for sure.
Take the Morning Mayor wherever you go. Download the WBSM app.
Good morning, 6:18, and Bristol County Sheriff-elect Paul Heroux made his first in-studio appearance on WBSM South Coast Tonight since his upset victory over a longtime Sheriff Tom Hodgson. Heroux said that he and Hodgson haven't had a conversation since the election. Heroux said that he has spoken with the Bristol County Sheriff's Office and their spokesperson, Jonathan Darling, and he expects that he and Hodgson will meet before Heroux is sworn in as sheriff on January the 3rd. By the way, during his transition, Heroux hopes to tour the House of Correction in Dartmouth and the Ash Street Jail as well, and making sure that they both meet with all the department heads, and we'll keep an eye on that story. Of course, Heroux took questions from the audience via the phone and the WBSM app throughout his 2-hour appearance. The central point of his appearance here on WBSM was that the sheriff-elect wanted to make it very clear that he will not make any immediate personnel or program changes. He said, "I respect the institutional knowledge of people."
Take the Morning Mayor wherever you go. Download the WBSM app.
So, you want to be a politician, do you? Well, nomination papers are now available for New Bedford's Ward 3 preliminary special election. Manny DeBrito and the Board of Election Commissioners are advising the public that nomination papers are now available for the Ward 3 preliminary special election, and any candidates can pick up their nomination papers and also make out their election calendar. All the information that I'm giving you is at WBSM and at City Hall, and we'll keep not only an eye, but we'll find out who else is interested in running for the special election. And I am hearing Bob Bromley is very interested. And many of us know Bob through the military museum and whatnot. Now, if you want to be a candidate for the Ward 3 special election, you have to obtain at least 50 certified signatures to be eligible to appear on the preliminary ballot scheduled for Tuesday, January 24th. And in that special election, New Bedford Ward 3 voters will be casting their votes for the councilor of Ward 3 as a reminder that Councilor Hugh Dunn is stepping down. The last day to submit nomination papers to the Board of Election Commissioners is December the 6th at 5 o'clock. Good morning. Oh, boy, does that coffee roll look absolutely luscious?
Take the Morning Mayor wherever you go. Download the WBSM app.
In fact, I think today is a perfect day for hot chocolate with whipped cream and a nice, well, let's see, coffee roll, or how about cinnamon coffee cake? You like that? Donuts, European pastries. You know where I'm going with this one. I'm going right to the Sunrise of the South Coast. That's Sunrise Bakery and Coffee Shops. Yeah, hot chocolate, huh? Or how about an espresso? They have all the best homemade pastry and breads and even soups. All right, so on Fridays, you can enjoy creamy clam chowder. And the rest of the week, how about trying the chicken noodle or the minestrone? Visit Sunrise Bakery and Coffee Shops because everything they do at Sunrise is always filled with love.
If a natural disaster comes knocking, how prepared is your family? You can't just close the door on earthquakes, floods, or hurricanes and hope they go away. That's why it's important to make a plan now. Ready.gov/plan has the tools and tips you need to prepare your family for an emergency. So if disaster shows up at your doorstep, you'll be ready. Visit ready.gov/plan and make a plan today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Good morning. If you're just waking up with us, first of all, thank you so very, very much. In some of the local headlines, there's an armed robbery yesterday at a local bank, and there was an armed robbery also at the Cumbies on Kempton and Rockdale. We'll have details, and many of these stories are right there waiting for you at WBSM.com. Go there and take a look at all of the headline news, and always depend on us to follow up on very important stories. Once again, the last day to submit nomination papers, if you want to run for the Ward 3 councilor seat, is coming up on the 6th of January. As long as I'm on a calendar, I want to remind you that January 23rd at 12 o'clock is the last day and hour to apply for an in-person absentee preliminary ballot. And that's on the 24th. Let's see. We have February 17th, 5 o'clock, the last day to register to vote for the Ward 3 special election. That's February 17th. A few days later is going to be the last day and hour to apply for mail-in or absentee election ballots. And that's happening on the 21st of February. And then from 9 until noon on the 25th of February, absentee voting in City Hall, room 114, occurs. The 27th of February, the last day and hour to apply for the in-person absentee election ballot. And then on February the 28th, Ward 3 special election, the polls will open at 7 a.m. and close at at exactly 8 p.m. March the 10th is the last day and the last hour to file for a recount for the election. And that is all information that you'll find at the City of New Bedford's website. And we hope that you have a great day today. Thank you, everyone. It's 6:26, and we have other news that I'm following here. Lifelong New Bedford resident Bob Bromley has announced his candidacy for what we were just talking about, the Ward 3 City Council special election seat, and a long-time public servant and Veterans Advisory Board Chairman and also a fiscal analyst. He pledges a back-to-basics focus on constituent services. Bromley said that lifelong city residents need to run for seats, and so he's running for the Ward 3 City Council seat in the upcoming special election to focus on constituent services and the concerns of the residents of the ward. One bit of a little advance warning. If you do plan on running for public service, make sure that you do make constituent services number one.
WBSM isn't just a broadcast, it's also a podcast. Get all of our podcasts at WBSM.com, the WBSM app, or just search WBSM on your favorite podcast provider.
If a natural disaster comes knocking, how prepared is your family? You can't just close the door on earthquakes, floods, or hurricanes and hope they go away. That's why it's important to make a plan now. Ready.gov/plan has the tools and tips you need to prepare your family for an emergency. So if disaster shows up at your doorstep, you'll be ready. Visit ready.gov/plan and make a plan today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hear about South Coast news? Then talk about it. 1420 WBSM.
Good morning. Great to have you with us. It is Wednesday. Hump Day. Mike. Where is Mike the camel? I miss him, don't you? Do I have a story for you? Listen to this.
She sits on a dock, fishing in the water,
They could be singing about New Bedford, you know.
I don't know her name, she's a fisherman's daughter, Come on down in my boat, baby. Come on down where we can play. Come on down in my boat, baby. Come on down, we'll sail away.
So listen to this. Those of you who own boats in this area. Last Sunday, a man went over to the Old North Wharf, spotted a 32-foot boat docked in his assigned slip, and quickly took matters into his own hands. According to the police, he untied, listen to this, he untied the offending vessel, so to speak, setting it adrift on the water and leaving his space free and clear. Now, on an island where devotion to fishing and boating runs deep, the outburst has prompted some outrage and, from many others, disbelief. In her 25 years managing the wharf, we have a story here that the manager said that she'd never heard of someone intentionally unmooring a boat. She named the person as Mark Walpow, the chief executive of a Boston private equity firm, and said that he texted her afterwards and apologized for his action. But can you imagine? It's just like somebody like a marine rule specialist saying, okay, only those of you who got into the slip can stay there, but not according to the person who is paying for it. It's one of the oddest things to go on around here, kind of setting the boat adrift. Wow, what kind of an explanation can you give that? Well, we'll talk more about that on the flip side. And yesterday, Kate had the headline of former Fall River Mayor Jaziel Correa having lost his appeal of several convictions on extortion and fraud charges for which he is currently serving a prison sentence. Speaking of news, what do you say we get into the newsroom with Kate? And good morning, Kate.
Good morning. Investors in the U.S. will be looking for hints this morning about where interest rates are headed. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell is set to deliver his last major scheduled speech before Fed officials hold their next monetary policy meetings in mid-December. Another thing market watchers will be keeping an eye out for is the release of the second estimate of the third quarter gross domestic product. Walmart is facing a lawsuit from a survivor in the shooting at one of its Virginia locations. She says the gunman should have been let go after she complained about his, quote, threats and strange behavior more than 2 months ago. She also claims she was severely traumatized after seeing the Chesapeake store supervisor kill 6 coworkers and injure several others last week in the break room. Despite assurances that lava from Hawaii's Mauna Loa isn't threatening communities, some residents are remaining vigilant. For Nicole Skilling, the first eruption in 38 years of the world's largest active volcano is bringing back bad memories. She fled from another Hawaii volcano in 2018. Back then, she lived near the community where lava destroyed more than 700 homes. She relocated to the South Kona area, only to find herself packing her car with food and supplies after Mauna Loa erupted late Sunday. Officials say the areas where lava is emerging are far from homes and communities. The eruption has also drawn onlookers to a national park for views of the event that are said to be spectacular. The San Francisco Police Department is now allowed to take out suspects with robots. San Francisco Supervisor Hillary Ronen expressed concern at a Tuesday night meeting.
I think that the scenarios that we're using are hypotheticals to bring up fear.
Earlier in the day, the San Francisco Board of Supervisors approved a policy that lets police use remote-controlled robots capable of lethal force when no safer alternative options are available for subduing a threat. The policy also allows the SFPD to use other military-grade weapons and equipment. The Prince and Princess of Wales arrive in Boston today for their first U.S. trip in 8 years. Prince William and Kate Middleton's arrival comes ahead of the Earthshot Prize Awards ceremony on Friday. Kensington Palace says the royals will join activists, innovators, policymakers, and performers to celebrate all of the finalists before the 5 winners are announced. The launch of the first private lunar lander is delayed until Thursday. SpaceX called off this morning's planned launch of the Falcon 9 rocket that will carry the commercial mooncraft developed by a Japanese company. The rocket will send the spacecraft on a 1,000,000-mile trip from Earth before slipping into lunar orbit next April, when the lunar lander is scheduled to touch down on the surface of the moon. Until now, only the U.S., Russia, and China have landed rovers on the moon. The holiday shopping season is getting off to a record start. The National Retail Federation says close to 200 million went shopping from Thanksgiving Day to Cyber Monday. That's up from 179 million last year. And the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree will be lit tonight, ushering in the traditional start of the season. NBC's Mark Barger has more.
Similar to last year's event, more than 50,000 LED lights on 5 miles of wire will brighten the tree, and a 900-pound Swarovski star will adorn the top.
The lights on the 82-foot, 14-ton Norway spruce will be flipped on during a televised ceremony on NBC beginning at 8 p.m. Eastern. It's expected to be a cold, wet night, with forecasters predicting strong winds and heavy rain for the evening. In sports, the Boston Bruins are enjoying their longest ever home game winning streak to start a season. It's now up to 13 after the Bees beat the Tampa Bay Lightning 3-1 at TD Garden last night. The Bruins are home versus the Colorado Avalanche for their next game on Saturday. And the Celtics wrap up their 6-game homestand with a pair of games against the Miami Heat tonight and Friday. The Seas have won 4 in a row up to up their record to an NBA best 17-4 on the season. Now for a look at your local forecast from ABC 6.
Strong, gusty wind and heavy rain coming in this afternoon. Temperatures rising to a high near 58. Be ready for ponding on the roadways, perhaps some damaging wind and an isolated power outage later on this afternoon and early evening. There is a wind advisory in effect. Overnight tonight, we clear it out. Lows dropping into the 30s with a west wind 10 to 20 miles per hour. And tomorrow will feature a mostly sunny day, high near 42. From the ABC 6 Weather Center, I'm Storm Tracker meteorologist Nick Morganelli on New Bedford's News Talk Station, 1420 WBSM.
Right now it is 45 degrees and cloudy. I'm Kate Robinson for WBSM News. Stay up to date with New Bedford's News Talk Station, 1420 WBSM, and get breaking news alerts and podcasts with the WBSM app.
Take the Morning Mayor wherever you go. Download the WBSM app.
Oh, definitely. Philzy is here this morning along with Kate. You know how I can tell? A car just pulled up to our large window, right? And I couldn't see who it was because it's still nighttime.
Oh, yeah?
Right? So what does Philzy do? I made believe like, oh, hi, how are you? And there I am giving one of those Philzy waves. That's how I know, Kate.
Very nice.
You betcha. We have some news about a lifelong city resident in Ward 3 who wants to toss his hat in the ring for a special election. We'll talk about that and other things as we come right back.
Barry Richard.
Indeedy. Let those blessings from up above give you blessings as this day begins, this day being Wednesday, November 30th. Say goodbye to November 2022 forever. Tomorrow marks the first day of December.
Here's to the losers in the game. Here's to the soldiers of the bitter war.
been carrying this news story, and so have many other sources, from former Fall River Mayor Jaziel Correa. It's reported that he has lost his appeal of several convictions on extortion and fraud charges, for which he's currently serving a prison sentence. The decision was issued on November 28th. The U.S. First Circuit Court of Appeals upheld Correa's convictions for defrauding investors in his Snow Owl app and for extorting marijuana vendors for licenses to operate in Fall River. November 30th, Correa is currently serving a 6-year prison term, and he is in a medium security facility up in New Hampshire.
If a natural disaster comes knocking, how prepared is your family? You can't just close the door on earthquakes, floods, or hurricanes and hope they go away. That's why it's important to make a plan now. Ready.gov/plan has the tools and tips you need to prepare your family for an emergency. So if disaster shows up at your doorstep, you'll be ready. Visit ready.gov/plan and make a plan today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Jim Phillips, host of Town Square Sunday. Join me each Sunday at 6 a.m. on WBSM. We'll tell you about upcoming community events. You'll also hear from interesting people looking to improve their neighborhood, their town, or city on the South Coast. Tune in every Sunday at 6 for Town Square Sunday, only on 1420 WBSM, New Bedford's News Talk Station.
1420 WBSM is now also on 99.5 FM.
You know who's playing the piano, don't you? Ramsey Lewis. Taking us back to the 70s for sure. For sure. Good morning. Armed robbery seemed to be on the menu yesterday at a local bank and the Cumbies up there on Kempton and Route 6. We'll have more details of that story. And so happy to hear that Jess Machado's Amanda Orlando live interview yesterday was the center of attraction and attention on the Howie Carr Show yesterday. Way to go, Jess. Now, Jess has been filling in off and on, and of course, she's always a welcome, refreshing voice here on the airwaves. You want to send a little Portuguese love from the South Coast to those you love? Well, just send a nice gift pack of Gaspar's Portuguese sausage and other fine products. You can really create your own gift package. Just go to their website, and there you'll see all the fine, delicious products for you or someone special, all right? Maybe they're not around here for the holidays, so the next best thing is send a little Portuguese love from the South Coast to your loved one. Choose from linguiça, chorizo, turkey sausage, other wonderful products, and you can check their website for delicious recipes, including favorites like traditional or hearty kale soup, and very interesting ideas for appetizers. And of course, you can use many of their products as a side dish or a snack any time of day. Now, since it's going to be a very busy holiday season, you heard what Kate had to say, that this early part of the holiday season has gotten off to a great start. So you want to order by December the 8th to guarantee Christmas delivery, and it can be shipped anywhere in the United States simply by calling this number, 508-998-2012. Simple as that, 508-998-2012. That's gas bars, linguiça, and other fine products. Just visit linguiça.com. That's linguiça.com to learn more.
If a natural disaster comes knocking, how prepared is your family? You can't just close the door on earthquakes, floods, or hurricanes and hope they go away. That's why it's important to make a plan now. Ready.gov/plan has the tools and tips you need to prepare your family for an emergency. So if disaster shows up at your doorstep, you'll be ready. Visit ready.gov/plan and make a plan today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Ice cream. All the ice cream in my house, in the world, and most of my stuffed animals.
My video games and, my phone.
What would you give for your freedom? Would you give your eyesight? Would you give ever seeing the sunset again? Would you give the ability to see your children's future? Thousands of brave men and women who served in the United States Armed Forces have given their eyesight in defense of our freedom. And the Blinded Veterans Association wants to give them their freedom back, but it needs your help. Go to BVA.org to find out about how BVA's free programs and services, advocacy, education, peer support, scholarships, and more help America's heroes to not just deal with the emotional and physical issues of sudden sight loss or impairment, but actually work to get them back to the independent lives they deserve to live. Go to BVA.org to find out how you can make a difference. They fought for your independence, and by going to BVA.org, you can find out how to help these veterans regain theirs. Go to BVA.org today.
Take the Morning Mayor wherever you go. Download the WBSM app.
How warm is it? Well, it's not bad. Actually, today is going to be kind of mild. We are right now at 53 degrees, and guess what? By this afternoon, it should climb up into the lower 60s. Then the fun starts with lots and lots of wind and downpours. Be prepared. Well, a lot of people have been wondering whether or not Charlie Baker really made a big difference as governor of the Commonwealth, and he has roughly, 1 month left in office? And while he recently said that he was not prepared to start talking about what he's accomplished in the 8 years, it appears that that is about to change. Baker, who, by the way, was in Ireland with his family this past week, they returned on Monday, didn't say whether or not they met up with Kate Robinson, but it is nice to know that they're back now. And he returned this week, and yesterday was one of the participants in the New Way Peer Recovery Center. And they met there to discuss what the administration has been working to fight for all of these years. And that, of course, is the addiction to opioid pills and whatnot. And the governor is gathering members of his governor's opioid working group. What's interesting is this happens to include Attorney General and Governor-elect Maura Healey. That should turn out to be an interesting meeting. Nice of you to join us. It's going to be very windy this afternoon. It's probably going to mean that if you bring an umbrella, you may turn inside out.
Take the Morning Mayor wherever you go. Download the WBSM app.
If a natural disaster comes knocking, how prepared is your family? You can't just close the door on earthquakes, floods, or hurricanes and hope they go away. That's why it's important to make a plan now. Ready.gov/plan has the tools and tips you need to prepare your family for an emergency. So if disaster shows up at your doorstep, you'll be ready. Visit ready.gov/plan and make a plan today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
New Bedford's news talk station, 1420 WBSM. This is the voice of New Bedford.
Have you ever tried to reimagine A Christmas Carol, the classic? Well, New Bedford High School's senior, Eleanor Scrooge. Eleanor Scrooge? Will have the audience all interested and loving to go to the Drama Club's next production. Reimagined, huh?
The New
They used to use that sound effect for when a cartoon went violent and people started punching each other like the Hawaiian Puncher, you know? Good morning. I hope it's a better day for you than that. And we want to thank everyone for joining us, especially those of you leaving us. And we're making this promise. Anything and everything South Coast is right here at 1420 WBSM. We're ending up the hour with Barney Frank's former aide. And it's been nearly a decade since Barney Frank last represented the Bay State in Congress. But thanks to a former aide turned cartoonist, the lawmaker's career is being memorialized in a graphic novel. Smart Guy, S-M-A-H-T-G-U-I, Smart Guy, The Life and Times of Barney Frank, written and drawn by former aide Eric Orner, and tracks Barney Frank's rise into the ranks of the Democratic leadership, both good and bad, scandals and all. It's going to be a unsettled afternoon, so get your Oh My Dog gourmet hot dogs early today. Scott Pemberton would love to see you. His brand new business, Gourmet Hot Dogs, at Oh My Dog, 1900 Acushnet Avenue. We wish Scott Pemberton all of the very, very best of blessings. 6:58. Thank you for joining us. I know it flew by, right? Well, when we come back, we'll tell you all about New Bedford High School's Drama Club and how they are reimagining A Christmas Carol. And this is, of course, the Charles Dickens holiday classic, the basis of the new theater production by students at New Bedford High, December 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. How do you take a time-honored holiday classic and make it relevant for today's audiences? Well, you'll have to go and find out to learn more. Thanks, everyone, for joining us.
Back to the Morning Mayor, Phil Paleologos on 1420 WBSM, New Bedford's news talk station.
Speaking of the theater, have you seen the motion picture yet? The story of Fall River native Navy Captain Thomas Hudner Jr. and Ensign Jesse Brown. It's, they say,
Hey guys, time to get in on the action for the biggest moments in basketball with Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projections, place your entry, and win up to 100 times your money. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit of up to $100. Just download the Prize Picks app and use the code GET100. That's code GET100 on Prize Picks for a first deposit match of up to $100. Prize Picks. Pick more. Pick less. It's that easy.